Jeez, I need to start this before my camera falls over again or some other random miscellaneous thing happens. But you know, let's just jump right back into it, positivity gang. So what's up, my party people? It's your boy. It's the one and only. It's your man's, you know, the positivity god, aka Big D. And you're back for your favorite podcast on this lovely planet. It's called The Positivity Hour, okay? I think that's the best intro I've had yet, but it's okay. We're just gonna jump straight into things, you know? Sit back, grab some water, take a sip, and stay hydrated, you know? So good. You ever like try to drink some water like I just did there? For all the people who are watching, but you don't swallow all the water and then you open your mouth and then you almost like dribble it all over the floor. Yeah, I do that sometimes. But let's jump straight into this one. So this one's all about like education, you know? Education, you know, has been a vital, big, instrumental part in my life within the last, you know, year, I would say, but more so last week or so, because I don't know. I said in a daily dose of positivity, you know, subtle plug if you don't follow me on Snapchat, Darshawn123, and catch your daily dose of positivity there. I thought about posting them on YouTube, but like they're not always like consistent like videos, you know what I'm saying? They're just kind of post sometimes. But back on topic. One thing I had brought up was how like education is like the master key to get you anywhere in life. Now, this is where my stance on education will differ, because people in the past have thought formal education is that universal key, or like that swipe card at hotels that the maids use that like you can get into any room, you know? But I want to tell you that's not true. Now, for some specific fields, if you're going into something more specialized, if you're trying to go be a orthopedic spine surgeon, then come on, you know, you're gonna have to, you know, go through Gen Chem, Principles of Chemistry 1 and 2, maybe some O-Chem. Well, you know, probably you're going to be cutting into people's backs and stuff, you know? So, like, when it's like that, you're going to have to get, like, a formal education. But there are many people, and this is something people forget all the time, people look at all these rich and famous people and think, oh, they went to Harvard or Stanford, they went to these uppity up schools, they went to this, went to that. And, you know, I'm like, when you really think about it, a lot of these people, they did something different, you know, to get to where they're at. And I'm not sure if you know, but the norm, air quotes, I hate the word normal, I really do, but you know, that's a topic for later or a different video. But like I said, for those people to get to where they got, they had to do something different, which means they had to go against the norm. As in, the norm right now was, you know, once you're done with high school, go to college, you know? And some of them did, some of them dropped out. Some of them didn't even waste their money because they realized they already had something going on, or they realized that they did not need a formal education to get the bread, you know? Phrase I've been saying, I've said it before, but a phrase I've been saying a lot in the last day or two, maybe three or 4 days, was, you know, I always say, like, gotta get the bread, you know? Stay determined, stay driven, you know, stay focused, get the bread. But you got to realize why you're getting the bread. You got to get the bread so one day you can open up a bakery, okay? And then you got infinite bread. You're the one making the bread. You're the one giving it to others, okay? So that's the goal. Make yourself a bread factory, as I normally say, but bakery is the formal term. But back onto not formal terms as we drink some lemon flavored water. Ooh. Gotta switch it up. Can't always drink tap water, you know? Purified water's nice. Natural water is nice. And splash lemon water's nice, you know? But back on to education. One can be educated by simply just walking down the street, you know? It all comes down to the people you meet, the people you talk to, the encounters, your experience, you know? Simply, like the daily dose of positivity yesterday was sit back, like here, let me go to my Snapchat and quote myself. directly here, you know. Ooh, some people screenshotted it too. Wow, we lit out here. But yeah, it was daily dose of positivity 946. I've almost been doing this for 1,000 days straight. On the low, I've already said this on Snapchat, but I think I'm a week off. I'm either a week behind or a week ahead. I'm not really sure, but I know I'm about a week off. But whatever, we're just gonna keep going. It says, but the Daily Dose Positivity says, sit back and observe sometimes. You'll learn more that way. Patience is key, and move calculated and not emotionally driven. So, what I was getting at before I went off to the subtle plug to my social medias once again, plus, you know, they're always in the description too. Plus, I've been meaning to change the description. We're going to get back to that side thing, but I just need to jettison over for like 20 seconds. So I'm not sure if y'all know, but you know, this the Darshawn Smith YouTube channel community, as in what you're watching, you know, the Positivity Hour, you know, this is a very inclusive community. We love everybody. We love we literally love everybody. Like, if you're a person, if whatever you want to decide to be, you know, I love you, okay? I love and appreciate you. But you know, in my description, I made that when I wasn't as knowledgeable about everything that was going on, you know, in the world, you know, from the different genders and races and things. So, you know, it's not, it's still a good description, but I feel like it excludes some people. So, you know, I'm just putting this on the camera to, you know, provide motivation to actually change it, because now that I've said it and people are going to watch it, I kind of got to do it now, you know. Hold yourself accountable, folks. But let's get back on to education. Ooh, I almost swallowed the gum right there. That's why the education was a little messed up. But, like I was saying, you can get educated walking down the street, okay? You just need to observe. Open your eyes. As I'm a big person who doesn't like to think too far ahead in the future, because like I'm invested in right now, and what I learn right now changes my future, you know? A lot of people think the future is set in stone, or like you have a certain destiny or a fate. And you know, I could see how like that is true. But I can also see how if I would have done something differently 5 to 10 years ago, my life would be completely different. You know, I could see how if, you know, for example, actually, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to just say it without names. I'm going to say, for example, if a person I know didn't decide to settle down in a specific town and decided to move on, that person's children may not be here. You know what I'm saying? I would say, obviously, like, everything happens for a reason, but I'm saying you're the one who is actively changing your future. So the fact that I'm doing this right now is putting something into motion for the future. It could be terrible, you know? I could become the most hated person on the earth, you know? Maybe I'm just a normal Joe Schmo, but, you know, I am going to school to be a social scientist researcher, so maybe I'll be famous and this podcast will actually take off and people will listen. I'm not saying people don't, you know? I don't get mad views, but, you know, I don't watch my own videos, so, like, all the views I got on there, well, I watch my own videos with, like, friends and stuff, and I have, like, other channels, but, like, we don't talk about those, but, like, I get a few views every now and then, you know. Views ain't everything. That's besides the point. Let's get back on topic, Darshawn. But like I'm saying, like, because I'm doing this is like actively changing something for my future, because like I believe I have this wisdom inside me, and I'm trying to do my part to spread it to others, you know, because I feel like we should all, you know, prosper and reach the fruit tree, you know, harvest your fruits of labor, you know, or however the saying goes, you know. There's this one YouTuber, Mr. Organic with the K, you know, he rocks with Tall Guy car reviews, and I follow them pretty closely, and they're super inspirational black men in the YouTube community. That they Mr. Organic grew up in San Diego, then moved to Minnesota, like the Minneapolis area, then moved back to LA, and then Tall Guy grew up in Minnesota with Organic and then moved back to LA. And Mr. Organic just bought his dream car, you know. He got a Rolls Royce Wraith, okay, super expensive car, really nice luxury, his dream whip, as he would say, you know, and he's big on, you know, the grind and education, you know, and that is a great, him and Corey, or Tall Guy Car Reviews, are two great examples in the black community of like black men who have, you know, been down at one point. Like, you know, Mr. Organic has fought a case or two. Luckily, you know, he doesn't have like too much of a criminal record. You know, he still got guns and stuff. He still has rights. But like Corey, he's like a 7-time convicted felon. You know, he's done some questionable things in his life. But you know, that was his past life when he was like, you know, before he was in the age of 20. But now he's 31. You know, he moved out to LA, got him a super nice apartment downtown, right across the street from the Staples Center, drives a McLaren, drives big lifted truck, drives, you know, Hellcat, just real inspirational people. And yes, while he was in prison for like 7 years, he did get a degree in criminology, which is a more formal degree, but you know, as some people would say, that street knowledge is everything. There are some things, you know, a formal education just simply can't teach you, and this is what the thing I was getting at on my story, is like sometimes you need to sit back and observe and take a more hands-on approach, you know. Right now, like I said, Mr. Organic got his dream car, the Rolls Royce Wraith, you know, say that 5 times fast. And, but, Mr. Tall Guy Car Reviews of Corey, he is trying to get his dream whip, the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. And I'm not sure if you know, but just came out, and we know without too many options, that boy like 700,000. You know what I'm saying? And for him to, you know, be released from prison like 4 or 5 years ago, and then be living in living in a downtown LA apartment, paying like 3 G's a month. You know, got $10,000+ in car payments. He's got a YouTube channel with 700,000 subscribers. Like, for him to do that is like profound and super inspirational. So as Jordan Lucas and Will Smith would say, make sure you give a rose to the people you appreciate, and the people who have guided you or shown you a way, or shown that, you know, people who look like you can do it too, you know. Can't even say like all like white folk have had a person like that for them, but you know, I would say that's a more reoccurring thing for them. But you know, it's nice to see that although the times are tough, you know, in 2020, us black folk are, you know, still out here strong, getting the bread, as I would say, you know, making us a bread factory. And you know, it's if they can do it, I can do it too. You know, I definitely don't plan on going down that path, but you know, that path that they went to or had to go to, because you know, it's all about survival at the end of the day. Like, it's tough out here in the world, so you gotta do what you gotta do to get by. But you know, I don't plan on doing that. Like, I'm very fortunate, very privileged that like I don't have to go through something like that, and that I'm already like at advantage. Like, I'm already a few steps ahead of where they would have been at my age, you know. So which means that like if they're doing that, and like, don't get it twisted, they grind all the time. There are days where they don't sleep at all and they just work. But like, you see their success, you know. And I plan on doing that too, just a more formal way. But like I said, it's all hands-on. So that's why, like in my case, gotta volunteer, gotta get out there, do a project or two, you know. Go. Don't be afraid to meet people. Don't be afraid to reach out. Or in college terms, don't be afraid to go to office hours, because my TA for my social inequality class, Dr. Seamster, I got a shout out to her. She was the professor. Great person. I love her and appreciate her, and I'm definitely going to take some more classes with her. So I may have to write a paper with her 10, 20 years from now, you know. She's one of the best sociologists I've ever met in person, you know. But her TA, Leah Belt, she put me onto this book right here, The Souls of Black Folks, by W.E.B. Du Bois. He's one of the first like institutional, like, or integral, how do you say it? One of the like founding fathers of sociology, you know. And guess what? He just so happens to be black, you know. And you know, Leah also just happened to be black. Dr. Seamster is not, but you know, she's pretty cultured, and you know, is willing to guide a young blood like me through the journey of how to become a social scientist in this super white world, you know, and to, you know, break the norms, break the stereotypes and, you know, make a better life for me and people who look like me, you know, one research topic at a time, one presentation at a time, one, you know, classroom instruction at a time. But, you know, what Leah did for me, like I said, she really put into perspective, like, the struggles you're gonna face, you know, being black in this world, you know, or not in this world, but in this subject field you're trying to conquer, which is, you know, social science, or sociology more specifically, the study of human behavior. And, you know, put me on a few books, put me on the game, put me on some programs. And this is when it all comes down to, you know, education. So obviously I'm getting the formal education, you know, I'm in the class, I sit in the front, I'm taking the notes, you know, I finished the class with an A. You know, I'm getting the good grades. You know, I did so well. You know, she sent me an email like, you're one of the best students I've had in a while. You know, I hope you could take more classes, you know, with me. And I'm like, shoot, I haven't responded yet. That was like 2 weeks ago. I need to go through my emails. It's on my to-do list. Don't worry, Mom. But like, don't get it twisted. Like, I forgot what I was going with that. But the main gist of the story is, oh, formal education. So yeah, I'm getting the formal education, but it is the informal education, the behind the scenes work, the like, hey, like, I need you to help me out if possible, you know. Not only just because you look like me, but just because you're a person who's like succeeding in the game, you know. And you just gotta look out. You know, I once read something like, if you want to be a millionaire, you gotta hang out with billionaires. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta surround yourself by the people you're trying to work yourself into. And obviously, in everyone's situation, that's incredibly difficult. If you're, you know, growing up on like the south side of Chicago, like that's a lot more difficult than like if you're growing up in like one of the suburbs, you know, one of the northern suburbs. But it can be done. And great quote I'm blanking out on, but to paraphrase it, you know, the harder the struggle, the greater the reward, you know. So although you're at a disadvantage, it can be done. I know a few people like Opara Rice, the CEO of Tanager Place here in Cedar Rapids. Like, I met him, and he came and lectured in my social justice class. And, you know, he grew up on the south side of Chicago and, you know, got involved in some things. And, you know, now he's the CEO of a very large organization that, you know, is integral in helping young people in the community of Cedar Rapids and the surrounding areas, you know. So it's just like, you gotta want it. That's the biggest thing. Like, we could talk like this whole time we've been talking about like educating yourself, you know. Either it's formal, informal, however you want to say. You got to realize though that you can get all the education in the world, but, you know, it's not going to work unless you do too, you know. But also, you gotta want it, you know. You gotta want it so bad. And this is like, every time someone, I'll make this a full video, but like, I'll just say it like in short here. You gotta want it so bad, like, or let me backtrack. This is similar to how people, or when people ask me like, how am I always positive, you know, how am I always on a high note, how am I always enjoying the grind, you know what I'm saying, like, how am I always doing this, how am I always doing that. And it's like, you know, you just got to be determined. You have to want it. You have to like feel it inside you. It has to be something that is like in your heart here, not in the center. Your heart is not over here. Your heart is off to the left, you know. You're right, but like, this is my left arm, so, or I don't know. You know what I'm saying though. It's off center. You have to want it in your heart, and you have to want it so bad that like, there is nothing anyone in this world can do, no matter how much they value you, or no matter how much you may think you need them, or how much you value their opinion. You know, if you get pushed over by like a loved one or something, then like, it's a lost cause. You have to want it so bad that like, you know, dare I say, like, you're willing to die for it. Like, you have to like have that level of like determination, you know. And a lot of people lack that, you know. A lot of people simply just do what they got to do to get by. That is completely okay. There are a lot more people nowadays, you know, I can't even say that because, you know, it used to be worse, but there are a lot of people nowadays who are simply, you know, just getting by, you know, who ain't doing too well. They're just out here vibing. They're, you know, surviving is the best way to say it. You know, there's a difference between living life, you know, and surviving. And they're like, you got to realize if you're tired of surviving, it's when grind time is. You know, you may say, oh, Darshan, I work at McDonald's. How can I do the things you do? Like, I can't afford to go to college. I can't do this. I can't do that. And I'll say, you know, and like the first step is, you know, you got to just face the facts, you know. Just say, hey, it's not going to happen unless I do something about it, you know. Obviously, everyone's situation is a little different, but, and I can't really speak too seriously on the topic because, you know, I've never worked a fast food job, but, you know, me being a young up and coming social scientist in training, and this is the whole point of this podcast is, you know, it's in the description, controversial topics and things from a sociology major's perspective, you know, like we're trying to, you know, study human behavior, but it's when you just, the biggest way to overcome any challenge, especially if you're in a situation where, you know, capital is something you don't possess, like if you're working a minimum wage job and you're barely getting by, this is when you gotta be self-disciplined, you know. You gotta put the effort in, you know. If you could do some overtime, do some overtime. If you can save even like $5, you know, it's not a lot, but $5 over a year, that adds up. And you know, like $5 a week or something, or even like every 2 weeks a year, like it's gonna take you a while, but if you do it, eventually you'll be able to save $6, maybe even save $7, maybe 8, 9, 10. Next thing you know, you're saving $20. Okay, this goes back into like this whole, oh geez, I'm breaking stuff over here. Where'd my whatever, talk about that later. This goes back to the book my brother bought me for my birthday. My birthday is next Sunday, actually, so the next podcast, it will actually be like the birthday special, you could say. But it's called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and although I haven't really read this book yet, you know, it's all about money and stuff, and I don't know too much about money, but I know money makes money, and the only way to, you know, get money in the first place is you gotta save it somehow. So this is when you gotta take your own, like, take up your own initiative, you know, like take up your own fight. And like I said, you know, even if it's $1, you know, you gotta start somewhere. You know, start a savings account, make it one at like a bank you can't get access to easily or whatever. And like if you got direct deposit, like although it'll look super petty or whatever, you know, deposit like all your excess funds, you know. If you have none, then like it's like that, you know. You got to do what you got to do for the side. You got to maybe, you know, grind, get a second job, you know. Like I'm saying, like it's gonna be tough, you know. There's no shortcut to, you know, success. You know, obviously some people, you know, maybe cheated or had an advantage, you know, many years ago, and they're still reaping the reward and benefit of that today. But you got to realize you're not out of the fight yet, you know, and I'm a living testament to that, you know. I haven't always grown up the best, you know. We struggled occasionally, paycheck to paycheck, but you know, we out here. Drink some more water real quick. We out here though getting the bread, you know. I drive a city bus, you know. I haven't drove it in a while, but you know, when I was driving the city bus, you know, my biggest thing was, although I don't need this money right now, I'm gonna need it eventually, so it's going straight to the savings, you know. I swear I can't ever record a full episode without the camera cutting out. But, you know, I don't even know if the camera angle is still good, but we're going to go with it. The reason the camera cut out right there is because the temp got too high. You know, when you record for like 20 plus minutes straight with the screen on behind it, you know, the screen generates some heat. So I always forget that I need to, you know, with this camera, it doesn't have like a flip up screen. It has like an adjustable screen though. So I just popped the screen out and then, you know, added, you know, directed my fan over there in this direction, you know, get some air current over here, you know, cool it off. But, you know, we got to wrap this video up, but not really, you know, it's the positivity hour. I can go for an hour, but back on topic, because I don't know where the camera actually cut off. Oh my God, there's a little dog right here. Jesus. Come here, Missy. Come here. Come on. Oh, look at my sister's doggy. Yo, this dog scared me. I was like, yo, what is on me right now? What just jumped up on me? Yo, see, and all the people listening right now, oh man, you should be watching. There's a pretty poochie on here. But yeah, so what you got, Missy? What you want? Oh, she's on my desk now. This is what we do. You see the dog? Oh yeah, we're lit. Okay, Missy, come on. You gotta go. You gotta go. Hello. Come on. I gotta keep going though. Okay? It's been real. You'll see her in the background. She's over there chilling now. But back on topic. So I don't know where it cut off, like I said, but I was talking about how like you got to be organic from the seed, you know. And I was talking about how like you got to have money to save money, but you know you can't save money until you have money or get some extra change in your pocket. And then I don't know. And then I started talking about the institutionalized. I almost said racism. I mean, institutionalized racism is a big factor in that. But there's a lot of other institutionalized things that are inhibiting people from, you know, getting the bread. And then I said, you know, once I get the bread, make me a bread factory. And I was talking about how like I'm gonna help my people out, you know, because it all comes down to, you know, the individual help. You know, you got to be the change you want to see in the world, as some people would say. And you know, I'm definitely, you know, trying to make some big waves. You know, maybe write a book or two like this. You know, maybe do some articles, research papers. You know, run for president 2036. You know. President Smith sounds all right, you know. Dr. Smith sounds pretty good too, you know. 8 more years of college and maybe we'll be there. But yeah. Yeah, and then I talked about how I was gonna make a bread factory, or I already said that. I was saying how like I'm not lying to you when I say like I'm trying to help my people out. Like I said in the beginning, before like it even got to this point, that I'm trying to make a bread factory and I'm trying to like give out the bread, you know. I'm trying to share. Like if I'm doing well, if I got millions in the bank or whatever, you know, even if I got like a couple extra 100,000, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm helping my people out. Don't get it twisted though. You ain't gonna be freeloading. You're gonna be working for that money. So, you know, you may be working for me. I'd rather you work for me or something, or you know, do something to where you know you ain't working for the man. You know, with going with the gender norm. You know, this is another one of those norms, air quotes, you know, that I hate. Is how we use gender norms. That's why instead of like all these YouTubers, they're like, "What's up, guys?" Like, do you realize there are women that watch your stuff? Like, surprisingly, the overwhelming amount of people who watch my stuff are women. You know, a lot of my friends are women. You know, I struggle to make guy friends. I guess, you know, it's weird. That's a topic for a different video though. But yeah. So that's why I say like, "Yo, what's up, my party people?" You know. Because that's inclusive. That includes everybody. I can definitely say I've at one point said, "What's up, guys? It's your boy Strom Smith." You know, like, and it's so. We'll get into that. That's a whole other topic for a different time. You know, gender norms. Jeez, I gotta break that down. I gotta get like one of my sociology friends up on here and to break down gender norms for y'all. But drink that water. You know, stay hydrated. But let's get back on topic. So. We were using the example of McDonald's, saving a few dollars a day. You know, what you do with your money is your own thing, you know. And obviously having money for a rainy day is good, and you know, being able to go out and celebrate and have fun with your friends is nice and all. But you got to realize that like you are the one who is in control of your life, you know. And it all comes back to education, you know. Not everyone has that education to know to like they gotta save that money, you know, because even if it's sitting in a bank account, it's making money, you know. The money in my savings account, you know, it just made some interest. It's not a lot, but you know, interest adds up. And if you don't touch that money, and especially if you put it in a high interest savings account or a like certificate of deposit, it's good. Especially if you don't like I said, $5 a day. Not even $5 a day, maybe $5 a week, you know, $1 a week or something, you know. You just got to add it up, and once you get to like that 10 or 50, like the first bank I banked at, you could do a certificate of deposit with $50, you know. So like once you get to that $50, you just let it sit, put it in a certificate deposit, you know, for like a year, you know, save up, get the next 50, put it in there for another year. And then when the 1 year comes back around, you're gonna have like $75, maybe $100. You know, you made a full return. You're gonna hey, I can already tell you're gonna be like, hey, you know, this is terrific. You know, I'm gonna use this bread and I'm gonna buy me something nice. And which comes back to the whole thing I said before. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta say no. I've been living life perfectly fine without that extra $100. That's going straight back into a certificate of deposit for another year. You know, you get that other 50, put that into a year. And eventually, they both come out. Now, that $100 from each of those turns into $200 each. That's $400. You know what you're going to do with that? Put that in another certificate of deposit for a year, you know? And you just keep going, you know? Obviously, once you do that, you're going to be having a little extra change in your pocket, and eventually, that's when you change your living situation. That's when you try to strive. Instead of working at McDonald's, you try to go get that job at Chick-fil-A. You got to go up the ring a little, but as when you go up the ring, you make a little more money. You want to know what you got to do? You got to live exactly how you were living, like you were working at McDonald's. And you're like, why, Darshan? Why do I need to do that? You need to do that because now you got all this extra capital to put in a certificate of deposit or something. A high interest savings account. Something like that. Invest it. Maybe you do Acorns, or you do, it's one of them stock things, You just keep investing, keep saving your money. And eventually, before you know it, you'll be like, dang, I got myself 5-10 G's. It's time to uproot, move on. You got to move to where the opportunities are at, and that's a very hard thing that I'm gonna have to learn real quick. I love Iowa, although Iowa, or not Iowa in general, not all Iowans love me. But I gotta move away from here. My job makes me travel the world, travel the country. Be a social scientist researcher. Maybe teach a college class or something, and I gotta go where the work is, and best believe, because being a college professor, you get paid a pretty penny. I swear, I'm saving all that money. I'm Gucci. I'm trying to buy real estate. I'm trying to make me passive income I can pass on to my kids, if I ever have any. I feel like I'll probably adopt a kid before I have one, but you never know. So look alive. But to sum up this whole episode in short, in the shortest of the shorts, and the funny thing would be if it's not even recording right now, but I'm pretty sure it is, but we're not going to talk about that. Education is key. Formal or informal, you need both. Formal can help you a lot faster. You can get to know some people, they can put you onto some knowledge, they can put you onto some things that what's worked for them, some things that haven't worked for them, but you're your own person. You got to do your own research. That's why you need that informal. You need that hands-on. You got to be disciplined, okay? You got to be willing to work. You got to be willing to grind so you can make that bread, that skrilla, that guap, okay? Then you got to make that bread factory, okay? Help your people out. Because, as Jay-Z, once said, I don't know the actual words, like always, so I'm going to paraphrase. What's the point of me having all this money if the people around me are broke and poor too? As he said, you're not successful until everyone around you is rich too, like your parents. I once said to my mom, maybe if the whole social sciences researcher thing works out, and I make a few dollar bills, maybe write some blank checks, what I'm saying, or get some blank checks written to me, what I'm saying, get the bread, certificate of deposit, save some money up. I'd be like, yo, that's when you buy your mom a house, or something like that, buy your dad a house, buy your sibling a house, maybe they'll buy you a house first, we're all on that mindset of we got to get the bread, and especially us being young black folk, and especially, although the times in America are tough and, terrible, we're still getting killed for running down the street, for simply walking away. We always get taught in school, or hopefully, I got taught in school that, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And, a good way to diffuse the situation is to walk away. But, we get killed for that, It's tough out here, but, we are determined. We ain't going to let that down. And, as New Yorkers and Americans in general, as after 9/11, we're not just going to stop, living our life just because, these people want us down, you got to use that as motivation. You want to know how to, stay determined, stay dedicated, stay getting that guap, stay getting that bread. Oh, you got to use your haters as motivators, That's the most pristine, rocket fuel, uranium stuff you can stick straight into your engine, and it just keeps you going. Me personally, I got some haters, but it's a lot more love than hate. And I definitely know what I do impacts people, because every now and then someone swipes with you like, yo, bro, that hit me different today. I needed that, So that's how I keep going. That's how I know obviously I'm doing something right, because, you know, people tell me I'm doing something right. Like, what I did helps them personally. What I did has impacted some people, like in Nebraska. It's impacted people in like West Virginia. Like, I've talked to people from like the UK. You know what I'm saying? I'm worldwide. You know, that's not a flex. That's just saying, like, the grind is real, and you got to be willing to put the time in, put the effort in to make it your life. You know, make you a brand, brand yourself and your image. You know, and you got to be so true and authentic and genuine that, like, it's not funny. You know, when I'm speaking on this camera right here, I'm not being fake. I tell myself this stuff all the time. Yeah, there's two sides of Darshan. You know, I occasionally, or there's more than two sides. You know, if you ever know me in person. But, like, you know, there's two sides to Darshan. Let's say, you know, there's the good and the bad. You know, positive, negative. But, like, best believe, as I say, you know, we're 97% positive. You know, we're negative for the, you know, HIV coronavirus test, negative for the pregnancy test. You know, because I ain't trying. You know, I'm 18 years old. You know, I don't need no kid. I ain't trying to have a kid till I'm like 32. But, like, don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I'm trying to, like, my biggest thing was, I'm trying to be able to afford like 10 kids before I even have one. You know, they say, like, have at least $200,000 in the bank, or, you know, like, over the kid's lifetime, it takes about $200,000. You know, so you do that 200,000 times 10. You know, before I even think about having a kid. So. But yeah, so negative for the HIV coronavirus test, negative for the pregnancy test, and that one miscellaneous negative, you know, because, you know, you can't have positivity without negativity. But don't forget, the thing that holds those two together is neutral, okay? Notice how, like, a while ago I said this was the summary of everything I just talked about, and rambled on for another 5 minutes. Good job, Darshan. Good job. But, let's wrap this up here. I gotta get this video out by noon. It's currently 9 a.m. I don't know, I like recording these same day of, you know, real time. But, yeah, I might cut my facial hair, but I feel like I'm gonna look like a big boy kid. It's okay, though. I'm not getting a haircut, though. My sister came over here yesterday. Funny enough, she got her hair done. I was like, yo, Darshan, why don't you get your hair done? I said this for a while. You know, COVID got a brother thinking differently. Who am I actually out here trying to impress right now? Who am I trying to look presentable for? And it's like, yo, the only one I try to look presentable for is me. So I ain't trying to impress nobody. You don't have to like me, you know. And like I said, you know, if you don't like me looking like this, oh, you won't like me when I'm cleaned up. You won't like me when I'm all proper, all, you know, table manners up in here. Like, I don't always use the best words, you know, but occasionally I do, you know. And if you gotta love the whole cookie, you know, as I would say, you know. You get it all. You just don't get to lick the frosting in between the Oreos. You know what I'm saying? All pun intended. But moving on though. So to actually sum it up now, get the bread, my people. Okay. And when you get the bread, bring your people up with you. Okay. All those day oneers, they may have gotten into some interesting situations. I could definitely, you know, think about some people I know and say, you know, it sucks that, like, you know, we started together. And now, you know, I'm off at college. You know, they're doing their own thing, and it's kind of sad. But best believe, when I'm doing well, I'm gonna think about coming back for them and be like, hey, bro. And for, you know, there are, you know, women in here too, and other people, you know, who don't identify as either. I'm gonna be like, hey, like, you know, I did this. I want to bring you along, you know. I think you have something to benefit from this too, you know. We all gotta live a better life, and especially my black folk gotta elevate those people. So if I can do it, you can do it too, you know. We're only getting started. I'm a sophomore in college officially now. Made the dean's list. We're out here getting the bread. So, you know, on that note, that's about it. So make sure you know, follow the podcast. Make sure you like this video on YouTube, or not, unfollow, report me, please. Say this is racially biased or something. Say that this has provoked you in some way and get me removed, you know. As I always say, like on my outros or like my vlogs or my YouTube videos, you know, I don't even say, like, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'm like, yo, make sure you hate, comment, make sure you dislike, make sure you know, unsubscribe, you know. You know, whatever you got to do to stay positive, you know, because that's the end goal at the end of the day. So as long as you're trying, or I messed it up right there. I'm like, yo, stay positive or not, you know, the choice is yours, but as long as you're trying, that's all that counts. So on that note, it's been real, folks. I'm going to catch y'all later. I'm actually trying to, put a dent in this book. My brother said he read this book in like 3 days, and I was like, ooh, there's an audiobook for this, so I'm gonna listen to it in about a day. The audiobook is like 7 hours, so I might, when I'm bored over this next week, I might do that. And then I read the first page or two of this. I've had this book for like a month or two. I just haven't like opened it. It's super interesting. I'm gonna like read the back. I'm gonna read a little bit of the black. I saw the word black out here. It said black. I'm gonna read a little bit of the back cover and then I'm gonna head out. But it says, "The Souls of Black Folks" is a work of American literature by W.E.B. Du Bois. It is a seminal work in the history of sociology and a cornerstone of African American literary history. To develop his work, Du Bois drew from his own experiences as an African American in the American society. Outside of its notable relevance in African American history, The Souls of Black Folks also holds an important place in social science as one of its early works in the field of sociology. See, this man is integral. Wouldn't have this without this black man. You know what I'm saying? Black power. But like, back on. In The Souls of Black Folks, Du Bois used the term double consciousness, perhaps taken from Emerson, the transcendentalist, and Faint, applying it to the ideal that black people must have two fields of vision at all times. They must be conscious of how they view themselves, as well as being conscious of how the world views them. So on that note, love black people, love yourself. That's a big thing. And be determined, be self-disciplined, and educate yourself, formally and informally. So get the bread, my people. Make sure you unfollow, report, dislike, unsubscribe, hate comment, whatever you got to do to stay positive. Because as long as you're trying, that's all that counts. So on that note, I'll catch y'all later for like the 50th time. And we out. Yeah.
Ocean.